feeling you have when you're about to scare someone? Like you're trying to get their attention, but they don't see you? Last year, I fell in love for the first time. It's impossible to describe that feeling. I had been waiting for so long, I doubted I would ever feel it at all. I learned to believe love was just a fairy tale. But I knew it was real love because she told me she loved me too. I could see it in her eyes. We were feeling the same thing. The only problem was that I was a mouse and she was a cat. We had so much fun together. She would chase me all around the house. I was good at hiding, and she was relentless in her pursuit. But I noticed sometimes, after the chase, when we were both exhausted, before I would return to my nest behind the giant buzzing refrigerator, she would seem distant. One day I saw a big bowl of lentil stew on the counter, and I thought it would be funny to hide inside. I was holding onto the sides of the bowl and waiting for the cat to sneak past. I could hear her footsteps on the counter, and as she approached, I squeaked loudly. She screamed and smacked the bowl, knocking me into the stew. I couldn't climb out because the sides were so slippery. She said she could push the bowl over the side of the counter, but I was scared I would get hurt in the fall. I was drowning. The lentil stew was slowly seeping down my throat and into my gut, filling my insides. The only option was to eat the lentil stew together. It took a long time, and by the end, something in her had snapped. She was crying. "We're just fooling ourselves," she said. She said I would only live for like a year, maybe a little longer, and I wasn't even supposed to be in the house. I spent most of my time hiding from the people who lived there. She said they might throw me out at any point, or even try to poison me. That was hard to hear. I felt a dull ache in my brain. But love is more important than anything, was all I could think to say. Then, as if to prove her point, a person came in and saw me in the empty bowl of lentil stew and started screaming. And another person came in to chase me around with a dustpan. I ran into my hole behind the refrigerator. I stayed in the walls for a while, listening for the cat. Sometimes I could hear her walking around. I wondered if she was listening for me. Still full of lentil stew, I farted and thought maybe she would smell it and find me. But I didn't hear her anywhere for days. Late one night, I heard her walking nearby. She was so close, I could feel her fur brushing against the wall. I wanted to tap the wall, to squeak as loud as I could, but I was scared to startle her again. I was frozen. Eventually, I couldn't hear her anymore. I found a passage down to the basement and into the sewer, and I crawled through the sewer until I saw a light and followed it into another house.